Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. First of all, I would like to extend my greetings to distinguished supervisor, Ms. Yusufia Shayati, MPD, and Mr. Tisna Isarja, SPDFO. Let me introduce myself. My name is Fauziah Rostika. I'm a student of English Education 2018 in IKIP Siliwangi. And after very long advance, I can finally present my research paper with a title Developing Context Materials using comic background in teaching writing to 10th grade students of a vocational high school. On this occasion, I would like to present my research paper. Well, my research paper consists of 5 chapters. In this study, the writer will talk about the first chapter, background of the research, second, the objective of the research, third, the research method, fourth, research and discussion, and the last is conclusion and suggestion. Background of the research. Nowadays, media can motivate learning to improve creativity while learning and producing teaching materials. Kong 2019 described using creative visual media such as icons, illustrations, and comics to provide learning material in language studies as effective. The writer used a comic because many teachers and researchers in education use comic as interest teaching media. The writer introduced module using comics in teaching writing because writing is an activity of giving ideas, opinions, information into written language and willingness or motivations. In this line, with Biorata 2012 states, students have focused on developing writing skills, attitudes, and motivation to acquire and learn writing skills. For teaching students writing skills, teachers need effective learning media for students to teach writing and develop writing skills. The goals of writing in vocational high school adapt to the Indonesian national curriculum to be able to write and produce a variety of text genres such as procedure, narrative, and recontext and tries. In addition, students should be able to write and compose various sorts function text and basic dissertation with the rhetoric steps creatively in everyday life using various written languages. Now, 2005 cited in Perdedi and Herman 2020 explained recontext is written out to form a report about an experience of a series of related events. The purpose of the recontext is to entertain or inform the reader about an experience. In this study, the writer is developing this material based on the student need. The writer finds that the English book for learning is incomplete. An English book only includes the example text about recontext and exercise for students. Based on the problem, the writer made a model material about recontext using comic as media. The writer can help students have more relevant teaching materials for them. Next, about objectives of the research. First, to identify the process of developing recontext materials using comic background in teaching writing to 10th grade students of a vocational high school. Second, to find out the result of developing recontext materials using comic background in teaching writing to 10th grade students of a vocational high school. Third, to describe the teachers' and student response towards developing recontext materials using comic background in teaching writing to 10th grade students of a vocational high school. And last, to investigate the challenges in developing recontext materials using comic background. Next, about research method. Point 1. Research method. This research uses research and development (R&D) as a research method. The writer simplified and modified from Brock and Go 1983 cited in Gustiani 2019 aims to design process and validate educational product used in the field by following the methodological steps. Point 2. Research subject. The subject of the research is the 2 supervisor lecturer in English education and 1 English teacher at SMK 4 LPPM RI Padalarang, with 50 students into 2 classes for mind field testing. The writer chosen motorcycle engineering 3 with 13 male and 2 female students as participants. For operational field testing, the writer chooses motorcycle injury 4 with 35 male students as participants. Point 3. Research procedure. There are research procedures. Research and information collecting, planning, developing preliminary form of product, preliminary field testing, revising main product, main field testing, revising operational product, operational field testing, revising final product, and disseminating and implementing. Point 4. Instrument. First is field note. Field note may contain personal information about the researchers, how participants are described, metative touch or analysis, and critical reflection can be very revealing. Second, validation sheet. 3 validators fill out the validation sheet, including 2 directors from English Education Department and 1 English teacher of Vocational High School in Padalarang. There are 4 aspects in validation sheet: is material, illustrations, quality, and material display. Also interest in knowing the result of the recontext module using comic as learning materials. 3. The writer giving questionnaires to students and teachers to obtain response regarding the use of recontext module through comic by creator learning media in class. This instrument is to obtain a SWOT research question number 3 about students and teacher response. And the last, interview. The purpose of this interview is to gain respondents and challenges, namely teachers, knowing teachers' response, challenges, comments, and suggestions regarding using recontext module through comic by creator learning media in the classroom. Next, we are moving to the result of the study. First, the process of developing recontext material using comic by creator in teaching writing to 10th grade students of a vocational high school. The process of developing the product was divided into 4 meetings. This research was carried out from 7 March to 28 May 2022. In developing the product, the writer following Bird and Gold 1983 suggest steps, which were as follows. First, research and information collection of the information that was designed to be analyzed were needed for this part. The writer interviewed the teacher in the same grade to collect information. And second, intending. The writer intended to do the following collecting for her project. The writer had several ideas for her project and objectives for her study. And the next, developing preliminary form of project is tried to make her product. The writer favors using comic by creator as a tool to assist her in creating a product. The writer also discussed the subject of intent to discuss in detail. Next, preliminary field testing. This stage, the writer has created a product. Preliminary field testing was validated by English Education Lecture Supervision 1, 2, and 1 English Education to see whether the media visibility in the testing, which entailed designing and evaluating the product. Next, revising the main product. The main product is revised to enhance the product analyzed in preliminary field testing stage following the director's recommendations. To make it simple for students to access the model in digital form, the writer alternative the main product during the revision stage by including a barcode. There are the barcode for access the product. Next stage is main field testing. The writer used the product that was made by validate. The writer conducted a study with 15 students from the 8th grade and 1 English teacher at SMK 4 LKPMI Padalarang to determine the response to how the media is developing. Next, revising operational product. After conducting the main field testing, the teacher requests a revision to change the story and question content in the model. And the next, operational field testing. This stage and main field testing are related. However, more than 15 students participate in this stage. Therefore, 35 students and 1 teacher are participating in this study to learn more about media. Next, revising final product. The writer provides changes based on the suggestion for a teacher and expert. scan the barcode to access digital predict and objectives for her study. And the last, disseminating and implementing. Because due to time and resources constraints, the writer only did the study up to 9 steps from birth and goal before deciding not to share the result with the public through publication and seminar. The writer used validation sheet to find out the result of developing recontext material using comic book writer in teaching writing. Conduct media expert supervision 1, supervision 2, and 1 English teacher in a vocational high school. Media validation test result of 94% indicated very valid and no revision by Hazara and Nurva 2020. The writer calculate this result using Excel. Next, the teachers and student response toward developing written text materials using comic book writer in teaching writing to target students of a vocational high school. The writer used questionnaire to describe the response from students and teachers about the developing written text material using comic book writer. The questionnaire to student and teacher to acquire their opinion to assess the media quality and effectiveness during the learning process. The student gave positive response in the mind field testing, 93% indicated very well, and for operational field testing was 96% indicated very good. For students who gave positive response in the mind field testing and operational field testing was 97%, which indicated very good by ALIPA 2013. The writer calculated this result using Excel. The last is the challenges in developing recontext material using comic book writer in teaching writing to target students of a vocational high school. The writer difficulties to finding sources of scientific theory about comic book writer applications and creating ideas and finding the comics reference, and the last, recreating comics because comics made in comic book writer in form of sheet using thereover the writer used Canva application to modify become 3D model. Next, about discussion of the research. The writer find out the theory for discussion in this study show that developing recontext material using comic book writer media increased student interest in writing. The findings is supported by theory by Huda et al. 2017, who examined developing comic material for teaching writing in their research. The learning model can be created based on the student needs. The study is consistent with previous studies. The developed recontext material it was needed to understand the learning needs of the students. Next, both conclusion and suggestion of this study. Based on the result of this and past research regarding the developing recontext materials, it can be concluded that comic book writer is applicable in private vocational high school. Developing recontext material using comic book writer in teaching writing was well based on the 9 steps of development by Book and Go 1983. As the result of developing recontext materials using comic book writer has a positive value and is very valid. The response teachers and students in developing recontext materials using comic book writer have a positive response. However, the writer has challenges coming up with ideas to make comics for creativity with the text becoming a good story. In addition, the writer had the challenges of arranging the comic in sheets. Afterwards, the writer used Canva application to modify the comics to become a module for media in teaching learning English. Suggestion for students. The writer suggests the student can use comic book writer to increase creativity in writing skills. Students can make a comic about their lessons. And the next suggestion for English teachers. The writer suggests that to To solve students' challenges and difficulties, teachers should consider using media such as comic book creator for interest teaching materials for students. Also, the comics inform module with integrate dialogue or narrative is most effective for students in writing learning. And next, the last is suggestion for other researchers. The writers suggest the future researchers can use comic book creator for future research as one of the reference in the educational field. I have present all the content of my final assignment from chapter 1 until 5. That's all my presentations. Thank you so much for your nice attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.